Our little staff, which started out this time last year with just one person, now numbers about 12, and there are a lot of people involved in different ways through voluntary committees and in supporting the Congress, both in Dublin and all around the country. That's right, the pastoral preparation programme was designed to invite people over a period of 2 years to reflect on 4 of the key areas of Eucharist: the assembly, the listening to the word which is proclaimed, the celebration of the body and blood of the Lord, and then the sense in which people are sent out on mission. So at the moment we're focusing on inviting people to consider how we are being challenged to listen in a new and perhaps more kind of deep way to the word which is being presented to us. And it corresponds with Pope Benedict's recent letter on the word of the Lord, which came out just before Christmas, which is full of useful resources for us in encouraging people. Yes, the bell was an idea that came up partly out of our experience of the Congress in Quebec. Events like the Olympic Games, for instance, have their Olympic flame, and we looked around for a symbol for the Congress which we thought might capture people's imagination. And traditionally a bell, which is associated with St. Patrick in the beginnings of Christianity in Ireland, is an invitation to faith, an invitation to prayer, to renewal, to reconciliation, and to mission. And so we got a bell on loan from the Dominican Sisters, which used to be in the convent in Port Stewart, and it has been prepared for us in a frame, a carrying frame, which will be taken from parish to parish and from diocese to diocese around the country between now and the Congress itself. And we hope that it will encourage people to begin to notice the Congress and to respond to the call to participation, not just in the Congress itself, but in the journey of renewal, which the Congress is really all about. Well, we have just launched a volunteer programme, and people can sign up as volunteers by going onto our Congress website, www.IEC2012.ie, and we will be inviting people to participate in different aspects of the preparation and celebration of the Congress. Like all big events, there are the people who sit in the seats, and then there are the people behind the scenes who make it all happen. And I think there are a lot of people in Ireland who would like to be part of making it all happen. We came across people in the early stages of preparing the Congress who told us about how their father or their grandfather or their grandmother was involved, be it in preparing the flag or in preparing the altar or in whatever it might be for the Congress in 1932. And clearly people have very fond memories of participation at that level, and we'd like to make that possible for people again. This is one of the really encouraging things about the Congress, actually, because while Ireland can sometimes be a little bit parochial and sometimes we can be a little bit sort of discouraged, and needless to say at the present time there are good reasons for people to feel discouraged, but we've had a very positive response to the Congress from overseas. The Canadian Bishops' Conference are promising a significant number of pilgrims. We've had expressions of intent to travel from Australia, from Taiwan, from Vietnam, from Paraguay, as well as countries nearer home in the European mainland. Now, the Vatican doesn't give that kind of indication until probably about 6 months ahead of any prospective papal visit. For instance, the visit to the United Kingdom, which took place last year, was finalised in March and took place then in the autumn. So we would expect that should the Pope decide to travel, and of course he would be very welcome if he does, that we may not know about it until perhaps even Christmas of 2011. What I look for from the Congress is a Christian community which is renewed both in its celebration of the Eucharist and in its sense of social solidarity, because I think the two things go together. The theme of the Congress itself is the Eucharist, communion with Christ and with one another. Through the Eucharist, both the celebration of the Word and the reception of the sacrament of the Eucharist, we are drawn into communion with Christ, but we are also challenged to deepen our communion with one another. And that's what the mission at the end of Mass is all about. The Mass is ended, but the communion is really only beginning.